Hey there, folks. Foggy here. Welcome to day 131 of my year of solo board gaming. We're going to be doing a couple of related games, Forbidden Island and Forbidden Desert. Unfortunately, I don't have Forbidden Skies, so I can't really do that one, and I'm not going to go out and get it. I just don't think that it is worth it just for the purpose of the stream. Now, technically, Forbidden Island and Forbidden Desert are not soloable games. You do have to play as two characters, but because it's a co-op, you can pretty much just go ahead and play it. There's no hidden information. There's no information that one person has that the other doesn't. It's just simply a matter of moving back and forth between the two characters that you pick, or multiple characters. You can play more than two if you want. This is the first of the series that came out, and basically it involves you trying to rescue these little doohickeys, these treasures, off an island that is slowly sinking. The island is made up of these tiles right here, and each tile has a regular side as well as a flooded side. And the way that it'll work is that occasionally you'll be told, okay, so a certain tile is flooding, the bronze gate is flooded, so you'll flip it from this side to its underwater side, and then the next time you get told to sink that even further, you actually take it away from the game. So as the game goes on, there's less and less of the island for you to be able to rescue. Now you can, as characters in the game, you can shore up parts of it. Basically, you turn that back over to its regular color side, and by doing this, and that helps delay it sinking into the water. You cannot rescue something that has been taken away, though. So if this is already sunk into the water forever, you can't shore it up to bring it back to that. You can also sandbag. It's a card in this orange deck over here. Sandbag allows you to basically turn over a tile like that, and then that is the same thing as shoring it up. You have some different characters in the game that have different abilities. Your pilot, for example, can fly any tile on the island, fly to any tile on the island for one action. However, it can only do that once. You can also move through, if you're the diver, you can move through one or more adjacent flooded and or missing tiles for one action. And so fun stuff there. You'll be using this, we'll be setting it to normal. There's legendary, elite, normal, and novice. And basically this determines how many cards you're going to pull to indicate how much of the island is sinking, and as the game goes on, this will slowly increase. If it ever reaches this level, you die. If you are ever unable to get the treasures, you die. If you ever lose a player, a token, you die. The only way to win is to get all four treasures and then get to Fool's Landing and get out of there. And you'll see Fool's Landing in a moment. The first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to set up the game board. So the game board involves these tiles, and I believe that there are 24 of them, and they are arranged in a sort of squarish pattern. You'll see what I mean in a moment, so we're going to go ahead and just start putting these out. You'll do the first 16 in a 4x4 grid. Now, typically when I'm doing something like this, I'm playing a game like this, I'll sort of put things out randomly according to the grid where they're going to end up. Mostly because it helps it helps add to the shuffle of it. Obviously, doing it without looking so that I'm not being influenced by anything. There are a number of things here that do not have any bearing on the game whatsoever, like Breaker's Bridge and Dunes of Deception, Cliffs of Abandon, and so on. So once you get the first 16 done, then you place two more on each side like this, and so that they correspond with the center. That's not entirely straight, is it? Let's tilt that just a little bit. There we go. Garden, Tidal Place, Crimson Forest, and Lost Lagoon. Now, what are these? What's the purpose of each of these tiles? Ones with pawns on them are just simply your starting spot, if for a specific character. So, like the pilot starts on the the Fool's Landing. The red player starts on the Bronze Gate. The yellow player starts on the Gold Gate, and so on. The spots that have little things in the corner are where you can turn in treasure cards to basically get the treasure on there. So I can take 4 of the water one, go to Coral Palace, and then get this and add it to my card. There are 2 spots like that for each treasure. So there's this one for the Windspring Garden, Temple of the Moon, Temple of the Sun, Cave of Shadows, Cave of Embers, Howling Garden, Tidal Palace. So there are multiple spots where you can get each one. In fact, this corner of the game looks really good because you've got four different things here, plus you got Fool's Landing, and you have a backup for 2 of them. So this is probably where we're going to want to start. But before we do that, we're going to actually sink some tiles first. You start off by taking this this deck here. We're going to move this here so it's a little bit more out of the way. Except you can't see how far down I am, so we'll move it right there. So we've got this deck. This is one of my quibbles with the design of this game. See how the Forbidden Island is landscape? What would you think that the cards look like? The cards are portrait. So Howling Garden is going to sink. And you're going to do this 6 times. I'm just saying, like, you know, it probably would have been better if the Forbidden Island thing had been straight up. Phantom Rock is going to disappear, like sink down. Basically, anything that is overturned is now more at risk of actually sinking. What you can end up with is you might end up with people who are stranded that you can't actually rescue. Gold Gate. It's a lot, actually. That's a lot right here. This could become potentially very problematic. But there are cards that help out with that. Now, much like Pandemic, did we only do 5? We only did 5. Much like Pandemic, the cards that you deal with first are the ones that are going to be the most subject to sinking. So we do have some problems here that we have to get some of these pretty quickly. And that is a luck of the cards thing. So now we're going to deal out 2 characters. We're just simply going to take 2 at random. I'm going to go to I'm not going to look at the cards, not going to look at the cards, so I just keep shuffling. And let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Explorer. I get my green card, yay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Engineer. Okay, Engineer can shore up 2 tiles for 1 action. That's good. So we're going to start the red character on the bronze gate. And we're going to start the green character on the copper gate. Now you'll notice that the copper gate is already flipped over. However, you do not have to worry about that at the beginning of the game. You can start on a flooded tile. And you don't have to worry about sinking at any point. I mean, this is not a card worth rescuing, to say the least. And the 2 abilities are, this character can move and shore up diagonally, so I can move here and then shore up if I need to. I can shore up this if it needed to. The Engineer can shore up 2 tiles for 1 action, so if I were here, I could do both of these at the same time. I cannot do diagonally, though, so I can't go here and do these 2. But I could go here and do these 2, which will help in a little bit. So now I'm going to deal 2 cards to each player. And I'm starting the Explorer off with a cup and another cup. And I'm going to make sure these are shuffled, actually. Played a couple sample games to sort of get used to the game again. One thing that's really important to remember is that you have a hand limit of 5, which can be very difficult to work with. That can be a bit daunting. There's one more thing I do want to check too, because one thing I noticed is that in the previous game that I played, the way that I was playing it. Okay, yeah, they just get discarded. Okay. The way that I was playing it, I was actually setting aside the cards used to gain treasures. And that is not good, because that means that when you go through the second time on the treasure deck, you are pretty much just limited to cards that are going to mess you up. That's neither here nor there. All right, so let's try this again. We got the Earth one and Sandbags, Waters Rise, Earth, and Ember. Now this is the only time that you'll actually ignore the Waters Rise, shuffle it back in, and then redraw. Typically, the Waters Rise will come out at the end of each turn, and you'll then have to deal with the Waters Rising, and you don't get to replace it. So that can be bad. And you are limited to 5 cards, so it doesn't really pay to hold on to cards, because you want to try to you have to get 4 to claim a treasure. So you really can't have a whole lot of extra cards in your hand at any time. In fact, this one is, I'm going to just go ahead and use the Sandbags now, even before my turn has started, to flip over Gold Gate here, so that we have a path to Fool's Landing, because that is something that we want to keep an open path to. But the Explorer is going to start, and the way that each turn goes, we'll go ahead and actually keep a play card here. I think you can see that if you squint really hard, if you zoom in on that spot. I don't know if you can or not. Take up to 3 actions, draw 2 treasure cards, discard down to 5, and draw flood cards. So you get 3 actions, and on each action you can either move adjacent, or in my case I can move diagonally. You can then shore up a tile, either the one you're on or one that's adjacent, and then you can, or you could capture a treasure, or you can give somebody else a treasure card. So if I wanted to, I could go here and I could give the red player that card. I don't think I'm going to yet. I think I'm going to let the red player really deal with this up here. In fact, I might have the red. I think I'm going to have the red player come down here and get these two flipped at once, because that I can do if I'm on here. So the green player, I'm simply going to go here, and I'm just going to work on shoring things up. So I'm going to shore this up, and I'm going to shore this up. All right. Those are my 3 actions. I moved once, and I shored, and I shored. And now I'm going to draw 2 more cards. I've got a helicopter lift, which will be really handy at some point, maybe, and a red card. So this red card will come in handy with this. So I kind of want to do a swap now at this point. But first, we're going to flood the island. Now, the number of cards we draw is whatever's indicated here, so this will be 2. The watchtower is going to get turned over, and the Dunes of Deception. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, why does it matter about helping out, dealing with ones that don't have treasure on it and don't really block the way? When something gets sunk, you remove both the card and the tile. So when you're doing the Waters Rise thing, where you shuffle the discarded cards back and put them on top, much like in Pandemic, the fewer cards that are there means the more likely it is that you're going to get a card that you actually want to save. So right now, I'm actually going to go here. I cannot go there. Sorry. I'm going to go here. I'm going to actually shore up these 2. I can do 2 as part of 1 action. And then I'm going to go here to Breaker's Bridge and hopefully not sink. And then on the next turn, I can do like 2 more. So I'll get 2 cards. I got a helicopter lift again. I got a cup this time. And now we're going to deal 2 more of these. Cave of Shadows is getting flipped. That's not good. And Twilight Hollow is getting flipped. And that is also not good. It's not bad. It's not horrible. Let's see. I'm actually going to go here to Breaker's Bridge. I can go 1, 2. And I'm actually going to give the orange to this character. Now, they've got 5 at this point. I cannot go any further. So that is something to keep in mind. But those are my 3 actions, so I'm going to go ahead and draw some more. And I draw an orange. Great. And a yellow. And oh, Jesus. Fire and air. I'll just refer to them to the elements that they're supposed to represent. So fire and air. I draw fire and air. We draw 2 more tiles. Whispering Garden gets flipped, which is this one. And Fool's Landing. That's not good. We want to definitely save Fool's Landing. That's really not good, because I don't think there's anything I can do about it as the red character. What I can do for now is I can flip these 2. I can shore up 2 on 1 action, and then move 1, and I can flip these 2. But the green character is going to have to deal with that. I also probably should have given, well, to move, can I have moved this? Yeah, actually, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the move via helicopter lift and bring that character with me. And the reason I'm going to do that is that because it does not count as an action, I still now have 1 more move that I can do. In fact, instead of Phantom Rock, I'm going to back this up a bit. We flip these 2, move to here, and then flip these 2. And I think that's the smarter move to do, because this makes sure that Fool's Landing is less submerged. You have to really, if Fool's Landing sinks, you've lost the game. You have nothing else you can do. So we've moved twice. I've shored up once, shored up twice, used the helicopter to move. I still have 1 thing that I can do left over, and I will go ahead and give the green player the second earth one. So I've got 2 earth here, 2 fire here. I want to get the fire from here to here, but I can't do that on the red player's turn because I can't get a card. It's not a trade. But we are going to draw 2 more cards. I draw an earth, and I draw a cup. So these are working exactly the opposite way that I want them to. So yay. And now we're going to draw 2 more cards. So Temple of the Sun is going to get sunk a little bit. And then Cliffs of Abandon. We're actually doing pretty well. We've gone pretty far without getting a... Where is the Cliffs of... There it is. Without getting a card that we don't want to get. So I'm sort of stymied here. I have to give this player the fire card. However, that means I'm going to have to discard a card from here. So I'm going to discard the cup. We'll work on the cups, I think, second time around. And since we've got plenty of helicopter actions, we're gonna definitely get more of them. I'm actually going to move both characters over here. And I'm going to use my remaining 2 actions to flip over. Actually, we'll go here. And we'll flip over Temple of the Sun and Whispering Gardens. All right, and get 2 more cards. So Sandbags and another air card. And we're going to flip over Temple of the Moon. And Silvergate. All right. So I'm going to have the green character go ahead and use their sandbag action to flip over Temple of the Moon, which I think I can do not on my turn. Red player is now going to give this Earth one over here. So now the green player has 2 Earth and 2 Air. Red's going to... Oh, I should have flipped this one over because, damn, that was stupid. All right, so red player is going to go 1 forward and flip this over, and that's all they can really do. 2 more cards. We get another air, and we get a helicopter lift. Now, unfortunately, I can't really do anything with the helicopter lift. I'm going to go ahead and discard the cup, since we know that we're going to do the cup on the second pass, and then flip 2 more over. We're going to get Tidal Palace flipped, Crimson Forest flipped. I'm going to go here and then shore up these 2. Because I feel like that's important. And then we're going to get 2 more cards, which we can't really do anything with. All right, so we got a cup. We're going to discard the cup. And we get a Water Rise. And now we are finally at the point of the game where things get serious. So now with Water's Rise, we adjust that up by 1. So now we're dealing with a flooding level of 3. We're going to shuffle the cards here. And there are 3 cards that are currently at risk: Phantom Rock, Crimson Forest, and Twilight Hollow. Any of those cards could get sunk at this point. And we're drawing 3 cards, so all of them could get sunk. Fortunately, we're still early enough in the game that won't be a problem. The one I'm concerned about is the Tidal Palace and the Howling Garden. The 2 water ones are really far apart. And that's going to be tricky, I think, to deal with. So these go on top. Again, much like Pandemic, you basically take all the discards, shuffle them, put them back on top, and then we get Cave of Shadows. So I'll get flipped. Whispering Gardens, which is right here. Twilight Hollow. Twilight Hollow is our first one that actually sinks. The other thing to consider is that we are going to have a lot of, still have 2 more Water Rises cards, so that is a concern. Now, at this point, I have to consider basically doing whatever I can to shore things up. So I am going to shore up Whispering Gardens as 1 action. Actually, no. I'm going to move here, shore up both of these as my second action, use my helicopter lift, which does not count as an action, to move to the Cave of Shadows, and then flip both of these over as my third action. And therefore, now we don't have to worry about anything getting sunk. So next we're going to start drawing some more. Tidal Palace, once again, gets flipped. Iron Gate. Oh, I forgot to draw cards, too. So let's put these back. That's my bad. Water's Rise. and a cup. So waters rise again, and that's actually why I wanted to pause there for a moment. So these are going to get shuffled, but since we're drawing 3 anyway, it doesn't really matter. Both Whispering Gardens and Cave of Shadows are now going to get flipped, and we're going to deal a 3rd card out, Iron Gate. I think technically it was the title one that was next, so bit of fudging here. Sorry about that. There we go. All right, now on to the green player. The green player's got some dilemmas here, so he's going to she. Let's say it's a she. Basically shore both of those up and then move over here to try to help out with that. I'm stymied as to what I'm going to do here. I've got my 4th of these, so I will discard an air because I have to. And then, oh, fudge. All right, so I can finally get some of these taken out. And then we're going to flip the Iron Gate. Watchtower, Phantom Rock. All right. So I want the red player here to be close enough to get this. How do I do this? So on my next turn, I'm going to do this for 1 action and then this for 2nd action to get back up to where he is. Because what I want to do is I want green to be able to give red the orange one. So I'm going to use all 3 actions, 1, 2, 3, to move to the Silver Gate, so that on the next turn I can get the other fire over to the red player. So we're going to draw 2 more cards, which we are not going to. We'll keep the air one, and the fire one, which I can just get rid of because I know that I'm going to get it from the green player. That means of these remaining like 4 cards, one of them is still a Water Rises card, so that's something to keep in mind. Howling Gardens is going to get flipped. Fool's Landing is going to get flipped. Temple of the Moon is going to get flipped. All right. So suddenly we've got a problem here because Fool's Landing is vulnerable, and I really want to get the. I think I've got to stick to my original plan, which is I'm going to give this player the fire, which means that they're going to lose another. We're not going to get either of those this turn. Here. And then we're going to get these into the discard. And then we get this. We've got 1 treasure so far. Yay. And those are my 3 turns. I draw another one of those and another one of those. So there is a water here. So I need to go here, flip these so that we don't lose the Fool's Landing, and then here, and then this way on the next turn I can do the Caves of Embers. But now we're going to get 2 more cards, and unfortunately that's going to have to get shuffled back in, and we got a Water Rise. So the water is going to rise 1 more time. We're on our last 3. We've got a number of places that are vulnerable. Temple of the Moon sinks. Now, in this case, I will simply swim to an adjacent one. If I could not swim to an adjacent one, that would be the end of the game because my player would sink. And in the case of the Explorer, I could swim to one of the diagonal ones, but I'm going to swim to that one instead. Watchtower sinks. And you see what I mean about, like, now that the water rises are starting to kick in, Cave of Shadow sinks. Because the cards aren't there, when we get a Water's Rise, it's going to become that much trickier. And now I have to do the Cave of Embers as the treasure to be able to get through the next part. So now what's tricky is I kind of need to be next to the Cave of Embers so that we can start just getting cards and then maybe just shore up these as much as we can. All right, so we've shuffled this. Green player goes. Green player flips this. And I don't think the green player can do anything else. Unfortunately, we don't have to actually do anything else. We can just use one or two of our actions. In this case, I've just used two. And we'll go ahead and draw again. We've got another fire and waters rise. There's nothing there, so we just simply tick up. It's actually probably the best time for it. And now we do 4. Whispering Gardens is going to get flipped. Iron Gate is going to disappear. Tidal Palace gets flipped. Fool's Landing gets flipped. That's not good. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to trade in the 4 of these to get the Cave of Embers. We're going to go, here's our second turn, and we're just flipping that over because that is fundamental. We have to keep that unflooded. So sandbags and the green, and I'm going to go ahead and use the sandbags right away to flip over the Tidal Palace. Draw 4 more cards. We got Phantom Rock, Howling Gardens, Crimson Forest, and Goldgate. So I'm just going to discard these cards. I don't really need them. I'm going to go ahead and, with all my actions, I'm going to shore up. I'm going to shore up everything. I don't want to take any chances on anything right now. Helicopter Lift and Cup. Now at this point we will hold on to a Helicopter Lift because we need one to get out of Fool's Landing. But now we're going to deal 4 more of these. Breaker's Bridge, Temple of the Sun, Cliffs of Abandon, Dunes of Deception. All right, so I am going to, as the red player, shore up Phantom Rock, move 1 forward, and then shore up both of these. And my focus now solely on this area. That's all I care about are these like groups of squares. Everything else can sink into the ocean. An earth and a cup. We don't need the earth, so I'm just going to get rid of that. We then draw 4 more. Silvergate, Coppergate, Coral Palace, and Observatory. The green player is simply going to flip this over and then also move here, and then I guess flip this over because they can. And the idea is that I'm going to now be in place to get the cup from the red player. To draw 2 more of these. Waters Rise and the earth one, which we don't need. So Waters Rise 1 more time. There is only 1 more Water Rise in this deck. So we hopefully can do this, but it's going to be tricky. All right. So now they're going to start coming in hard and fast. Coppergate gets flipped. Coral Palace sinks into the ocean. Dunes of Deception gets flipped, but stays here. Temple of the Sun disappears into the ocean. The island is quickly sinking around us. Red player goes. Red player's first action will be to do that. And then I think simply get over here and get ready to keep that active. And then that's it. So 2 more. The earth one we can get rid of. Tidal Palace is going to get flipped. Whispering Gardens is going to get flipped. Breaker's Bridge is going to get flipped. Howling Garden is going to get flipped. This is tricky now. I need to get down here to do Tidal Palace, so I'm going to do 1 and then flip both of these, but that is the end of my move. 2 more cards. I get 1 and Water's Rise. There's the last one. In fact, I think we've only got the 5 cards, so all 5 of these cards are essentially going to flip again. Dunes goes away. Breaker's Bridge goes away. Whispering Garden goes away. We've only got 1 option left for the other 2. In fact, I think to be on the safe... Well, we don't have to worry about that for a while. So 1, 2, and I'm going to give... And I think I'm simply going to get rid of the helicopter lift because we know we've got another one coming. 1, 2, neither of which really help. Cliffs of Abandon gets flipped. Fool's Landing gets flipped. Oh man, this is starting to get really bad. Crimson Forest disappears. Silver Gate gets flipped. Gold Gate gets flipped. Oh, this is starting to get really bad. So 1, 2, 3. We've got that. So we still have to protect Howling Garden. And I can get rid of these 2. I don't need these 2 at this point. 2 more cards. Sandbags. I will use the sandbags immediately to flip this over. One. This is the other thing that's going to happen, is that we're probably going to have to flip this, reshuffle this deck, because we'll run out of cards. Phantom Rock gets flipped. Lost Lagoon gets flipped. Cave of Embers gets flipped. Misty Marsh gets flipped. Okay. We have 1 more card, so that's all we can do. I think now I will flip these. 1. Actually, no, I'll flip these so that I still have a path. And then I'll give these 2 to my other character. I'll draw 2 more cards, and that's going to almost do it. We're almost out of cards. Helicopter lift. We'll hold on to that helicopter lift. That'll be important. And now we're going to do this last one, which is the Bronze Gate. And now we shuffle this, and now things are going to get really bad. So my plan here is that, yeah, things are going to get really bad. Mostly because I don't know how I'm getting my red character back to Fool's Landing without a helicopter. I cannot get to Fool's Landing orthogonally if the Gold Gate disappears. If the Gold Gate stays, great. But we're running out of cards. We're at 5 right now. So Phantom Rock. And what's worse is these cards are almost all going to cause things to disappear. Misty Marsh. That's 3. And then 4. And I already drew 1 previously, so that's it. So we're somewhat okay. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to get 1 card, Helicopter Lift. Which is good, because now I might be able to rescue dude here. Because the helicopter list can be played at any time. But really what we're hoping is that we do not get at water. Okay, that's good. So now, 1, the Gold Gate is gone. It's okay. 2, Fool's Landing disappears, or sinks. Silver Gate is 3. Tidal Palace is 4. We're going to have him swim over here. Actually, we're going to have him swim up here because I do not know if I can rescue from here. Because the red player... So let's say this sinks. The red player can't swim anywhere because it has to be adjacent. So we're going to have the red player swim here. And that was 1, 2, 3. And then 4 is the Bronze Gate. I think that's everything. I think that's all of our... I'm hoping. Let's do one more just to be on the safe side. Cave of Embers is going to get flipped. It's okay. One. Think. So I just got... I'm trying to remember which character I just go. Crud. I can't remember if I just had the red player go or the yellow player or the green player go. And that's important. I just had this player go. So this player has to figure out some way to get over here. And I think that's going to have to be this and then shore that up. So I've used my helicopter. But that's okay because the green player can get over here. It's just going to be tricky. Provided I don't get another water. 1 and 2. Okay. Or for, you know, run out of cards, which I should have realized. Yeah, because all of these cards are now going to get flipped. And I've lost the game. Because what's going to happen is these two cards are going to go away. Cave of Embers and the Howling Gardens. I'm going to be able to get to the Cliffs of Abandon. Which leaves these two cards. But then I have no way of getting over here. I don't know. I feel like I screwed up somehow. I feel like I could have... I should have been able to do something better with this. Technically, I'm not done yet. Technically, what I can do is I can go over here. I can shore that one up first. I can use that and shore this up. And then if I draw a helicopter card, no such luck. So now I've got two cards. They're going to get shuffled. They're both going to get flipped. I don't know what happens if I have to then do more cards. I actually don't know. Yeah, you keep drawing. So no matter what, these would just disappear. So I think I lost. I don't know if I just simply didn't play my helicopter cards right, but that counts as a loss. That is a bummer. I felt like I was kind of close on that. I'll be honest. That sucks. I feel like I just did something wrong. Like I messed up on my turn order or something, or I did too many cards or something like that. I feel like I just messed up somewhere. So that's a bummer. I came pretty close, but unfortunately just fell apart at the end. And that is Forbidden Island. It's a relatively nice game. I like it. It's not one of my favorite games. I think solo games have come a long way in the last few years, but overall it's nice. I enjoy it. Who is this by? Make sure it's not by somebody I actually like, who's now going to be like, why'd you say such mean things about me? By Game Rate. Okay. There's no credits in here. Why are there no credits? Game by Matt Leacock. Okay, there we go. That's actually something interesting. This is a fairly old game of mine. I've had this one for a while, and it's interesting that Matt Leacock's name is not anywhere on the outside tin, at least as far as I can see. Yeah, so... Because I feel like if this were to come out now, it's like, here it is down here, down at the very bottom. I feel like Matt Leacock's name would be a little bit more prominent, but obviously this is from a while ago, and not surprising then also that the flooding deck does kind of feel very... does feel very Matt Leacockian, feel very much like Pandemic, because essentially it is Pandemic. It is the same mechanism. I'm actually, I don't really do this that often anymore, but you're going to get to watch me put these away. Everything goes in. This is also one of the more ornate boxes out there. Something like that. Looks very, very pretty. We'll go ahead and put you guys in like this. I don't know where these go. I feel like I messed something up here. I think this one goes in this large container here. There we go. This can go here. Maybe. Again, I feel like these are obviously different sizes. So I think these are supposed to go like that and that, maybe. All right, that feels roughly right. And those can go there. This clip comes off, goes right down there, and then this just sort of sits on top. I did find that I had messed up my rule book by quite a bit. It got really kind of crunched in the corner there. Maybe because when I put the lid on, I put it on wrong. It does come in a nice tin. Do not pull the plastic out if you've not opened it up for a while. It smells foul. And that is Forbidden Island. Folks, thank you again for joining me today. I will be back tomorrow with the Forbidden Desert. Talk to you later.